Hiya folks, welcome to another driving debrief vlog. Today we did Launceston. I think the goal was just kind of to go there and to find some bits there that we hadn't done before. I'm actually looking at the map right now, and somewhere south of the Ambrosia factory there's a town that I've never really noticed on the River Tamar called Felldown Head. It must be a village or something. Anyway, driving up from where I live up towards Lifton Down via Chillerton was more difficult this time. The day had started off rainy, then it had entered a period of changeability, so it was like rain then sun, then rain then sun, then rain then sun. That set the mood for the day. Driving from home to Chillerton was a bit of a mess, to be honest. I kept having trouble on hills. I kept not selecting the right gear for hills, not selecting it early enough, and not getting my revs up high enough for the hills. So I'd go up a hill in fourth, and then it'd struggle as I went down to third. And then because I didn't get the revs up high enough, it's like I'm doing hill starts but on the move sort of thing. So that was quite annoying trying to get that working. There were lots of times when I could have gone down a gear earlier to go up the steep hills, and I could have been, instead of going up in fourth, I could have gone up in third, and I didn't get it early enough. Also, he brought up what my previous instructor had brought up on the aerodrome, which was like rough gear changes, and he said he just wants it to he said you won't fail your test for it, but he wants to make it look more professional or something, in which case you don't like push the gear stick hard to get in your gear, you'd meant to like touch it softly sort of thing, which works for me for going second to third and third to fourth and fourth to third, but it doesn't work getting into second gear from third. I always have to do that palm it away from you thing and then drag down to make sure it's in second, because I don't want it to be in fourth. If it's such a light click downward, I just assume that I'm going in fourth and not second, so I have to do that palming thing, because if I don't, I'll be in fourth. And my contention was that I had to do the palming thing. His contention was if you do it lighter, then it would be easier to get into second rather than fourth. I couldn't see that at all. I couldn't understand how it would be easier. I think it would be worse, to be honest. I think I'd be more likely to go into fourth instead of second if I did it that way. Yeah, there was a lot of other stuff along that road, because it's a 60 where he was like a national speed limit, 60 mile per hour road, where he was trying to get me to go up to over 50 miles per hour in fifth gear, and that today felt particularly dangerous, going there and coming back from Launceston at the end of the day. It just he was like, you're going sluggish, you're going like the speed of a tractor, but I feel like I'm going super high speed, like warp speed down this road, and I think if any small animal or tractor, or actually a quad bike almost did pull out in front of us, comes out into the road from a farmer's gate, we're just going to hit them in a head-on collision. And he kept joking and stuff and going like, well, at least you'll die quick, it'll be fine, and stuff, which really didn't help. And at the start of going up those 60 mile per hour roads, he was going, now these are the most dangerous roads you can possibly go down, they're the ones you're most likely to have accidents on. I was like, okay. And then for the rest of the time he was going, you're going too slow, you need to go over 50 mile per hour. And it just felt too fast for me, especially on bends. Like, I lose confidence in my ability to steer around bends the faster I go. I'd rather slow down for a bend, preferably in like fourth gear, but he's like, no, just stay in fifth, do it high speed, even though there's like black and white chevrons pointing to the left or something. And it just feels so wrong going around those bends at like 50 mile per hour or whatever. But that's what he wants me to do. So, yeah, that's something. Also, you don't know when you're going down those 60 mile per hour roads you don't have enough notice from signs and stuff when the road's just going to end in a T-junction, and you have to stop to look both ways and then pull off again and then get going high speed. It just kind of appears on you, and I don't want to go 50 mile per hour plus down those roads just in case there's suddenly a junction appears out of nowhere that I have no notice of. So that's the road between let's say Brentor, Chillerton and Tinhay, I think, where the Ambrosia factory is, and Lifton. That's that road in both directions talked about. And then at some point he didn't signify, and it wasn't signposted well, that we had to get onto a slip road. He just said, oh, slip road's coming up. And I thought I had to get ready to go onto a slip road from gear 3 around 30 miles an hour out of Lifton, but it wasn't there, and it just kind of, he went, no, it's not here yet, it's going to be a while. And then when it was time, it just snuck up on me like, no, turn, we're going on the slip road. And then everything you have to do on those tiny stretches of slip road, you have to do really high speed, and I'm not good at doing like those 5 to 6 things in a hurry, so I need way more practice at entering slip roads than he's given me. Well, of course, last time we were in Launceston, we did a lot of practice going back and forth, but I think I need more. It seems quite dangerous. Also, knowing when a slip road is merging to you and dealing with it, haven't done enough of that yet. So we went on the dual carriageway that took us into Launceston, and we did a slightly different route. We did some of the places we'd covered before. Like we did going up I think it's a 40 mile an hour road with like elderly people signs on the left, and a wide pedestrian walkway that you're meant to go quite fast down, and then suddenly it becomes a 30 on a faded sign, and then suddenly it becomes a second gear, go around a really tight left corner at some industrial estate warehouses. Did that bit, and then that leads past a couple crossings to the only double mini roundabout I know of so far. We did that going left, we went down past the car parkings and into town, and then right, and then we approached the tuning fork bend, the one I call Snake Bend, that's actually kind of like a tuning fork shape. He says, I'm going to describe this as go straight on, because he wanted us to take the left of this weird tuning fork T-junction. He said, I'm going to describe this as go straight on, because there's another road on the left that you won't have noticed, and some people do a hairpin U-turn to get into that, apparently. So it's not just the tuning fork. There's like a little road coming off here that goes backwards on itself. So it's almost like an H-shaped junction if you take into account this little tiny left turn. So you call it go straight on. I'm not sure whether you indicate left. I think we did indicate left. I'm not 100% sure on that. I'll need to do it again actually. Because he said don't indicate left because you could go around the hairpin, so maybe we didn't indicate left, but we were going left on the T-junction. Maybe you come out of it left and then indicate right immediately as you come out. Maybe it's that you do. I'll have to do that a couple more times. It's a really distinctive part of Launceston. Anyway, we took the left bit of that. You have to keep in quite firmly to the edge because it's hard to see, but there's a central reservation in that tuning fork, like the U-bend bit of the tuning fork. So we actually went down the left, parked on the side, he did a debrief, we moved off again. I'm just going to draw this on my map actually, I hope it doesn't crash, but you're not seeing this today. Different format today, sorry folks. Tell me if you prefer it with me following on the map, or doing debriefs by the window or whatever without any other stuff on the screen or whatever. So we pulled off after that and just headed forward down this road. It takes you around a kind of left-hand bend up to another mini roundabout, and we did a little kind of U-turn thing at that and came all the way back up to that junction because he said he's going to show me going down that hairpin road from this direction, which is where a lot of people fail their test. And he also gave me another example after that of somewhere where people fail their test. So that Snake Bend junction I was talking about, we came back on ourselves at the mini roundabout to do it in the opposite direction. Now we're coming up The so now it's more of an A shape, and we're on the right hand stalk of an A going up, and the top of the A there's the single main road coming up it, like the handle of the tuning fork, and then just to the right there's this tiny little right hand road from this direction. So you have to approach this going maybe first gear because it's quite tight. You have to go into the central reservation, which isn't actually wide enough for a car, so you just have to stick to the left hand dotted lane of the central reservation just to give other people behind you room to get by. You have to stop quite early. You have to take into account it's a two-way junction opening out with its mouth towards you, so there'll be cars coming out of it as well as you going in. You have to stop like with the handbrake, I think, in this central reservation and then squeeze in on the right. Some people stall and roll back. Some people go too far and don't make the turn, and they end up scooting onto the island with the trees and stuff, which is also looks like some kind of pedestrian crossing, like an unmarked pedestrian crossing, just with like bumpy bits on the pavement and dipped curbs. And some people, I guess, they don't get in the central reservation correctly. I think I did it right, as far as I could tell. No kind of applause or adulation from Tony. He's not that kind of guy. But yeah, I did everything right as far as I could see. Apart from, I did it too slowly. He said, next time you do that, you gotta do the whole thing fast. I said, well, it's only my first time doing this thing you say everyone fails on. And I don't think they would have got failed for speed unless it was like hesitation right there. So yeah. The problem with that also is when you're in the central reservation, because it's not a proper T-junction, you're not looking left for oncoming traffic, you're looking left and up behind you through your blind spot for oncoming traffic before you make the decision. And that way, and that way. And I guess checking your mirrors to make sure you've tucked in. Yeah, so that's apparently where a lot of people fail. Then we went down that becomes like a windy, really thin road. You have to do it in like first or second gear. It's like quite tight and narrow the whole way to wherever the heck it's going. We did lots of bits of Launceston that were new to me, basically. So there was another bit where he said people fail, which is a tight turn. There was a church. There's like a brown church, brownish grey church, square base on the right, and you have to turn right just before that. But just before you do, there's like a jutting out curb from the left of the pavement, like I guess where there might be shops or just people walk up past the houses. The curb for some reason juts out quite a lot on the left towards your left tyre as you approach this turn. So yeah, I think you have to approach that sort of in first gear, and you got to turn early, not late, and you got to watch out for the parked cars that are parked basically in the junction on the left there. So apparently that's where a lot of people fail, because they go there too fast, or they don't turn early enough, or they hit the curb. And apparently I did that okay as well. I didn't hit the curb or anything. We did a lot of weird stuff that I can't really remember that culminated in going to like I think it was like a big co-op supermarket after some traffic lights, and we were going to save the big kind of manoeuvres and bay parking lesson for next time in Tavistock, but we tried to do a bay parking in this car park for the supermarket, but it kind of messed up. There's lots of space, but he was trying to get me into a certain space and I couldn't tell which one he was going for. There was like loads of bays on our left that were free, but he wanted me in a specific bay and he wasn't really pointing it out well enough. And I thought we were about to do a reverse bay park, so I was getting prepared to do that. And then just like halfway through the manoeuvre, he's like, no, forward bay park. And I was like, what? But I was trying to line up the lines and everything for a reverse bay park. And that just threw me off completely. I ended up doing the bay park, forward bay park, like straddling over two lines. And I was just like, oh, this is embarrassingly bad. And yeah, it was pretty terrible, to be honest. If only I knew. I mean, it was kind of partly his fault, I think, for not being clear about what the heck we were about to do. He didn't really tell me. We just started getting into it and he went, nope, I meant the other thing. So hopefully next lesson we're going to do a bunch of refreshers on manoeuvres That's what I want to do. Like bay parking, parallel parking definitely. Maybe 3-point turn. And what's the other one? Reverse around a corner. I'd like to do more of that. That'll be in the Hellmouth town. And then we'll get back to Launceston eventually. I'm not sure if that'll happen the next lesson. I'd like to do one lesson where it's like Dartmoor driving. Maybe I go to Yelverton through Dartmoor. Would be cool, because that's a whole different type of driving from what we've been doing. And it'd be good to do some of that, because I'd be doing that a lot. And that might involve meeting people down single lane, very tight, high wall, high bushed roads, and eventually you meet someone and you have to reverse into one of the passing places that are on either side, and I haven't done that yet. Need to do more dual carriageway slipways, and then we need to get another Plymouth in, I think, so I can do more of that giant roundabouts, giant crossroads and stuff. So that's the sort of thing coming up. And then if you've seen my other video, I have booked my practical driving test. My first one, I'm going to say, because I don't know if I'm going to pass first time. A lot of people don't. For the 30th of Jan, right up early in the morning though, in Launceston. That means I've got like 12 weeks. I put a countdown thing on my wall. I hate waiting for things. I originally wanted to do it on the 14th of December, but when you look at the slots available, there's just like no slots up until end of Jan, early February. So I just had to take end of Jan as a slot, which is quite a long wait compared to what I was going to do. As today's lesson, it was a bit of a fuck up. We did drive past a chicken on the way back into our village. There's just one lone like rooster walking around in the road. Yeah, to kind of pause for him is kind of funny. And yeah, I think I asked him about SUVs and like if I got a larger car, what would I need to look out for? And he says, well, all cars are different, so he couldn't possibly say how different it'd be driving a car with different dimensions. He just brought up that the pillars might be wider or narrower, but he couldn't really say. Anyway, that's been today's driving debrief for the 14th of November 2023. Next lesson should be on Tuesday, but Tony sounded like he was going to move it. Either way, I'll catch you then. Thank you for watching.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day! I am the man who grabs the sun, riding to Valhalla! Witness me, bloody! Witness! I live, I die, I live again!